Okay, just to get this out of the way, this is a Nesta friendly house. I'm writing a Neris fanfic. I'm 40 plus chapters deep and 3 bonuses into a Neris fanfic that is very pro Nesta. I'm a pro Nesta girly. So your comment, I disagree with it like on its face that she was a freeloader, because she's not a freeloader. But I also need to clarify what you're saying, that it's not Nesta's home. It was provided for by Tamlin for Feyre's peace of mind. That doesn't mean that it's not Nesta's home. Tamlin gave it to her. She's not borrowing it. Like, Tamlin's motivations for giving Nesta and Elain and their dad that place to live, and setting them up for financial success after Feyre is brought into Prythian, that was done for Feyre, yes, but that's still their thing. Like, it's still their home. And Nesta gets to decide what she's going to do and not do with it as she sees fit. Because if I remember correctly, Nesta is the one running the bulk of the household. Which is why Nesta isn't a freeloader. Because I think it's very easy to get sucked into Feyre's point of view in the beginning of ACOTAR 1. And be like, oh no, Nesta and Elain didn't do anything. But I think we're only seeing Feyre's very limited perspective. And I'm talking literal perspective. Feyre's books are all in first person limited. She is only aware of the things that she is aware of. And considering that she, quite rightfully, is angry about the fact that she has had to go off into the woods alone and do a lot of stuff that someone her age shouldn't have had to do, especially because she had 2 older siblings, she's very right to be upset by that. But that doesn't mean that Nesta and Elain did nothing. It just means that what they did was probably overlooked. Like, think about what it takes to even run a household that is on the brink of collapse like that. It still takes effort to run that household. Like, yes, like Feyre, she went out into the woods and she killed the meat and she dealt with like the cleaning of the meat and all of that. But we never deal with like who cooks the meat. We never deal with like who cleans the house, who repairs things, who fixes clothes when they start to fray. I feel like a lot of that was Nesta. I feel like the things that she did in order to maintain the house, she probably didn't have anything to do with caring for their dad because she hated the dad. And that seems like Elain's job. But that doesn't make Nesta a freeloader. If anything, it means that she was doing, quote, woman's work, and her efforts went unnoticed, like a lot of woman's work is. Also, another thing on perspective, when it comes to like Feyre thinking that Nesta and Elain are like being freeloaders and like constantly taking the money that she's earning, and she's like, oh, like Nesta's shoes are perfect and then hers are like falling apart next to Nesta's shoes. We find out in Akasif that Nesta's shoes were also falling apart. Nesta was just very good about maintaining them. So honestly, that to me, it signals that Nesta has been repairing things, but that beneath Feyre's notice, and she's not noticing it. Therefore, we're not noticing it because of Feyre's limited first-person perspective. It's really interesting that you're just calling Nesta a freeloader here, because even me, someone who is constantly at the cutting edge of Elain apologism, nobody really has the same amount of smoke for her because she doesn't deal with conflict in the same way that Nesta does. That being said, this is not an invitation to shit on Elain here. Like, again, I am at the cutting edge of Elain apologism. This woman has never done anything wrong in her life. Either way, you will not catch me dead calling Nesta a freeloader, or Elain for that matter. I think the issue here is that these 3 sisters have all been mistreated and neglected in very different ways, and they're having trouble seeing each other's pain. And we are, in essence, siding with the sister that speaks the most to our pain. Which is why we got to think about this a little bit more objectively, because I think if ACOTAR goes down the way that I personally think it's going to go down, we are going to deconstruct and reconstruct the relationship between these 3 sisters. And we will be able to see the depths of all of their pain.